like Ratnesh to in fact talk a few words about, his, how does he remember Aswathy? Because he's interacted with her and he's seen her do that journey. So maybe Ratnesh, some thoughts from you.
Yeah, hi everybody. Hi Ashwati. Good to have you here. And how I remember Ashwati. Well, I remember Ashwati with the thought that she would get down to the little details and kind of work through them. And that's what I really admired, or that's what inspired me. How she will, whether she's doing work with camera, whether she's doing work with scripting. Those are the when she was at Aarohi, she was more full of filmmaking. So most of the incidents I will talk about will be about filmmaking, though she's now up to other things which she can talk about. But those little details and how she will go deep into each one of them. And we used to have lots of conversations about different films, although the kind of genre she watches I'm not like into it, but thanks to her I watched many of her genre. But the fun part was a lot of intense discussions on how this film is taken, or how this particular shot is taken, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's always awesome for me to see how Ashwati and youth like Ashwati can go so deep into something, and they're like, to me they're like almost professionals. So they are professionals actually. So that it's been wonderful being and I wouldn't say working with her, because I hardly do any work, but interacting with her and engaging with her, and yeah, always fun to listen to their stories. So yes, over to you to start the conversation with Ashwati. Yeah.
Sure. Maybe Ashwati, you want to share in a few words of, just how does it feel when you look back now? And we'll get into the details, but as you kind of look back at your journey, maybe just a few thoughts and few words from you.
Yeah. I think all the things that I've done, I think I've explored a couple of interests, but it was really nice to get introduced to different fields, and I liked exploring and getting exposure, and that kind of helped me with the next thing that I picked up, and I think the journey continues like that, and I really enjoyed that.
Nice. So, all right. So let's, kind of dive into this discussion. And so at least the theme for the day is, making informed career choices. And when I think of this theme, I can't think of a better person than you, because I have heard that you kind of explored so many things and almost to the point of taking it up as a profession, then doing an internship and then realizing, no, I want to do something else, and then jumping there. So that's an interesting aspect that we would want to explore along with you. So let's say, I believe you've been an open learner. You've not gone to school or any college, or you don't have any degrees. So when you were exploring stuff, when did you feel, what was the transition, and how was it when you were getting down to doing serious stuff? As in, exploring is one aspect. You look at multiple domains and, scratch the surface and keep doing it. But would you like to elaborate on what were you doing to kind of go deeper and, have sustained explorations? Maybe share some thoughts on that, on whatever domains you've explored.
Yeah. So I think like my method of learning is more like doing whatever. What say in filmmaking, I would actually go out and shoot something, then I'd analyze that, and then I'd look at something else that's already there and kind of learn from that and try to bring that in my work. And then each time I made something, it kind of just got better, or I felt like I was improving. So that's how I learned. And yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you could just give us some light into, how, like, the timeline, or, how did you go about, like, when does it become serious?
Okay.
When you are like, oh, I really like doing this, and maybe I want to invest some more time.
Yeah. So I think even like starting an internship, that starts after I did a lot of filmmaking by myself. And after a point, I felt like I needed to take this to the next level. And I felt like it was to work with other people who were professionals. So in the beginning, I started off working by myself, and my friends, like the people acting in the movies, were my friends. So I started by myself, but then still I felt like there was only a limit to how much I could go. So I felt like working with professionals would help, and that's how I did that transition from like doing filmmaking by myself and going and working with professionals and like an internship.
Sure.
Yeah, but Ashwati, just to take one step back.
Okay.
So even you're just making films by yourself and watching films and analyzing film was fairly deep. It was not like
Yeah.
1 hour here, 1 hour there. It was
Yeah.
like so we want to little know about it. That how did you got so deeper into it? Yes, eventually the internship made a lot of sense for you to, because you wanted that real feel of the real industry and experts.
Yeah.
So that was the next, I would say, logical step. But before that, how did this first step happen of deep diving into it from
Okay.
interest to deep diving? How does that transition happen?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I think it just like naturally came for me, but now when I think about it, it's like it started off with I just tried out filmmaking. I actually started with making a trailer on iMovies on this 2-day train journey that, like me and my friends, we got bored and then we were like trying to make a film in the train. So that's how I first got introduced to it. And I was really interested. Like it seemed like a lot of fun. So then when I made the first film, it was not much research. It was just like trying to like do it however I knew how to do it. But then with the interest also came like the interest to like kind of make my work better and how to make it like really good. And that slowly like made me research more, figure out more ways to do it, things like that.
So this desire to make it better, and you kind of, so somewhere you mapped it out that okay, I need to do A B C D E F G H, so many things, right? So that, so how did that go on in your mind? We are trying to do your mind reading.
Yeah. So definitely like when I did the deep diving thing where I actually went out and mapped out in one specific area in filmmaking itself, say script writing, I would go look at plot, look at conflict, different elements, and kind of like do. So even like the first film we made, we probably had like a story in my mind, and then we just as we went out, we shot it and then done. And then the next one, it was like to make it even better, we probably wrote like a synopsis. Then it became like even more deeper. And as like the interest to kind of make it better came, also with the learning, I slowly got introduced to more elements of script writing and started, learning about that. And so in script writing itself, I wasn't just like reading scripts. I was like obviously learning about the technical aspects of script writing, learning the software. Then I also used to like sit and in Aarohi used to look around at people who were doing different things and trying to like build a story from that. Someone would be like having a conversation, having a discussion. I would try to make a story out of that. Then analyze their like whatever they're doing to like tiny details. Like if someone like rested their hand like this, that says something about their character, and try to like connect that to script writing, things like that.
So Gitika, I just want to highlight this whole, summarize this by saying that this is what I really love about the way these open learning youth, if I may call them that way, go about their, they just keep enlarging, or rather keep going deeper, because they're not happy with whichever stage they are in. Now I want to add this, now I want to add this, now I want to go deeper in this. And I think that's something that I saw happening in so many different areas with Ashwati. So that's, I just wanted to, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also I feel like since you don't have like a limit or a criteria, right? You're not comparing yourself to someone else, and that's why it just makes you like that limit of how good you can get, it's not there. So you just want to keep like getting better.
That's a very interesting point. Like the fact that you are on this journey for yourself, for your interest, and and you're in it because you are like dying to do more, right? That's the whole thing driving you. So yeah. Maybe I would like to, if I were to just put a timeline to this whole filmmaking domain, because that's been something that you've done so deeply. So somewhere we spoke about, you going on this train journey and slightly exploring and it interesting you a lot. You've been doing a lot of work at your own individual level. Now, maybe if you could tell us for how long you did this exploration, right? And how did you go about connecting with the industry? So that would be interesting to know.
Okay, yeah. So first it started off with trying out filmmaking, which is a trailer, not even a short film, not a movie, just a trailer. Then I started making short films for, I think, maybe a year, where whenever we all came together as friends, we would make a movie together as like a fun thing to do. And I think I did that for around a year. I have this YouTube channel with a bunch of my short films from that time. And then after that, I think the next, so 1 year after making short films by myself, I came to Aarohi, and there also I was making short films, but also slowly starting to explore more of the technical aspects of filmmaking in cinematography and script writing. So those were, I think, the two main things that I focused on. So yeah, so that I did for a year, which would be more, I think, more structured learning, I would call it. So I wasn't, even though before I was making short films, I was making short films more deliberately. So that was a deliberate practice that I was following. So I was doing that. And then the COVID pandemic thing came for another year. Then I went back home, and I was also again doing whatever I was doing in Aarohi at home. And also there was this really intense short film I made where I tried to implement all the aspects that I learned. So I put a lot of, I think usually I make short films in a month, but this one I took 3 or 4 months to make it and put in that much work into it. And I was
a lot of post-production work also.
Post and pre-production work. It was, I think shooting was a month, but then all the work together was 4 months in total. So, and then after the pandemic, it would be
tell us even about the music collaboration you did even COVID time. So I'm just saying that all the details. You did some, for music, you did some collaboration with some people, no, for the short film.
Oh yeah. So it was other friends who were doing music by themselves, and they were learning about music production and things like that. I connected with 3 people to make music for our short film. So that was also really interesting, because making it's so hard to tell someone how I want certain type of music to be and describe it, and that was also really new for me. So that was also very interesting. Yeah. So I did that. And then it was the next year I started on this internship. So I was trying to reach out to people who were there working in the industry and getting contacts from people that I know. Then I got a contact from Ratnesh, in a person who's a Kannada film director, and he was making this feature film. And that's how I got the contact and the transition into the industry. And I worked with him for a year. I kind of went in with that intention of working for a year and figuring out it was I wanted to find out how I would take my next steps into building a film career, as well as seeing how it is to actually work as a filmmaker. So I did that for a year, and then I think I took a break. I took a step back from filmmaking. But yeah, so I would say 4 year 4-year journey with filmmaking.
So that's a lot. So I'm saying that's a lot of deep diving. Meaning in terms of time, 4 years is a beautiful time. So forget the filmmaking part. Tell us what these 4 years did to you as Aswathy. Okay, whether you would have continued or not continued. Filmmaking is only about facts, right? But what has it done to you? That journey of doing it deeply, widely, intensely, meticulously, and with the industry and all of that. What did it do to you?
So compared to when I started off, I kind of feel like right now I see so many possibilities of even learning, working, even collaborating with other people. All of that, like I see so many possibilities, and I definitely have this sort of confidence of that I can do a lot of things. And even working, the experience of working with someone, that gave like, it gave me like, when you have something in your mind and you know the theory of it, and once you've actually done it, and that kind of gives you that experience, which kind of further, you know, whatever I thought actually worked, and that gave like a really nice feeling. So that's definitely there. Then the whole journey gave me a lot of contacts and connections, which is like really, really nice. And I think I still connect with a lot of them even now, even though I'm not that much into filmmaking, but they kind of are still part of my life in different ways. That's also really interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so one is, yes, we get into a domain, we learn about the domain, and then what this whole experience does to us. So that's I think that's the beautiful part of doing these journeys. So okay, so after that, what next? What are the new journeys happening?
Right now, so from working in the film, I realized that I liked working with people, and kind of the like a director kind of position, if you're talking in terms of films, where you're managing people and you're, you know, like managing the whole team. So I felt like I liked that kind of position, and working with people kind of led to psychology, where I'm like trying to understand people. I think even with like everyday interactions, I try to like, you know, kind of understand the person, kind of know them and what they would be thinking and why they would react a certain way. I like analyzing people like that. And so that also led to my interest in psychology. I had, so Skanda is my friend who's also in Aarohi. And I think I worked a little bit with her with this teen cafe where we kind of met every week, and kind of, it's a safe space for teenagers to come and kind of share, be there for each other, connect, judgmental free kind of space. So I think that also was like a part of my psychology thing, kind of made me interested in psychology more. So I thought about turning psychology into a career, because I also saw it as an opportunity. Like I felt like you could connect a lot of things to psychology, because at the end of the day, we're all like people working on something, right? And so that way I thought it could connect to a lot of things, and I was interested. So right now I'm not directly learning psychology or doing anything, but I'm like doing this certification, which is basically 12th, but for US and Canada. And it's like a very practical based learning, so I like that. I'm not really putting like too much time or effort into that. I think even like when I decide to do, I will sorry if when I decide to do like a college or certification, I see that as a resource, not like the way that I'm learning everything. So it's like one resource on how I learn psychology. So that's one of the things that I'm doing right now. I also like read a lot of books in psychology, interact with a lot of people. That is what I do in psychology right now. And I'm also running this business with my friend, which is, we are a crochet brand called Newa. So my friend's name is Netra and I'm Aswathy. So Netra and Aswathy Newa, that's our name. Okay. And we kind of started with, you know, we thought that we need to get our own pocket money. And that's where we started. And we had this interest in crochet. So, but then like the stage that the business has reached right now is like where we're trying to kind of make crochet accessible to a lot of people, and like give them customized products, and kind of reach it to like different people for affordable rates. And like we're slowly building that too. And yeah, that's also going really good, learning a lot of things about business, and you know, like working with a friend and all. It's like, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, Kritika, interestingly, you realize how we as open learners let ourselves evolve. right? And, when first Aswathy just got the spark of the movies, and then it evolved into her. And from there, she reached a stage where she said, I want to explore other things. Though I think one day, Aswathy, it will circle back
Yeah,
to
it
movies.
will. Yeah, it will.
I know you little bit.
Yeah.
So, and then how it has led into whatever psychology, and how this business organically has grown onto them, and they are looking at different facets of that, without, as she said at the beginning, without an end boundary. There's no upper ceiling, or not even upper ceiling, any side ceiling, upper ceiling, bottom ceiling, in any direction where it organically they like going. There is joy, there is learning, and there is lots and lots of doing, isn't it, Ashwati?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us little what all have you been. So this transition from movies to psychology looks very natural, but this whole thing into business, what meaning? Yes, I know you want to earn pocket money, and hopefully you will throw some in our pockets too. But how did that transition? How did that transition happen, or rather, that addition happen?
Okay.
Let's say.
So I mean, I think
More in terms of not logistically, but more in terms of your mind. That was there a question that should I now get into this? I've been doing this. What is this? Do I just keep doing things? How does that work in the mind itself?
Yeah. So I think like we've all had these conversations with is it fine? Is the connection fine?
Yeah. I can hear you. Maybe Ratnesh's connection is a bit
okay.
odd, but yeah, you can continue.
Okay. So I think we've all had these conversations with our friends where we're like, okay, we're so good at this, let's just start a business together. But then it was like, that was kind of where our business idea also started. But then slowly, when me and my friend put like more thought into it, we kind of saw that it was possible, and we kind of liked the idea of growing a business. So sorry. So we slowly started like that, and planning the logistics and things like that. It was very like it was fun. It was also, we didn't know a lot of things, so we were learning on the way. And that also, like, it felt like we had a lot of challenges on the way, and building that slowly. But right now I think we're in the stage where we've learned like basic part, and we want to like improve more into it. And even like when we started the business, I think we kept it in our mind, like we're not exactly like, we didn't think that this is what I'm born to do, or this is my passion. I don't think that kind of interest was there, or that's not the idea that we started with. So it was something that we started as like a part-time kind of job, and I think that's how we see it. And it's something that definitely adds to our life. Like as a homeschooler, I think a lot of times I felt like, like not really having a purpose, or not too many things to do. So I think that this business really helped with that, and it always kept me productive, and that really helped. And like I was always learning, even though I wasn't like completely sure of a lot of things. I was always learning something new. I was always doing something, and that kind of, I like that.
Yeah. So, Ratnesh, I just wanted to add one very like interesting thought that Aswathy added, wherein she said she could see the possibilities, when she's deep diving into any domain. And even though like after 4 years of filmmaking, you may not like. I remember you telling in one of the interactions that you like the thought of making films, as in making films, but you didn't like the business, the whole operations of it. It's where you kind of disconnected. So, like it's not it may not be a profession for you, but it's still a creative pursuit that you may want to go back to later, right? Or you may still want to be making films. So it's not really an ended transaction where, oh, I've explored it for 4 years, now it's over, now I look at something else.
Definitely.
I think they're really going on in different directions and dimensions, like everything's happening at the same time. And so how do you see the dynamism in such a journey, right? Because you are actually exploring and looking at so many things, and now you're looking at psychology, looking at business. So what does this dynamism mean to you? How does it impact you, or is it scary? Is it fun? Is it your thoughts?
I think me as a person, I like doing a lot of things at once. I think even like Ratnesh would remember, like when I was in Aarohi, I remember like we had this thing where we had to do term planning, and I like to like get the most out of everything, and that's why I tend to kind of end up doing a lot of things. So I think for me, it's not like picking a lot of things and how to figure that out. It's like choosing the ones that I really want to focus on and prioritizing that is what like I do more consciously. Otherwise, yeah, even doing psychology and the business together, in the beginning it seemed like will I actually be able to manage that? Will like my focus be on something that is not what's most important to me or something like that? But yeah, I think the more I do it, the more I kind of understand and figuring out, like it's still a process of figuring things out. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just to add in there, like the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of the parents of maybe like you kind of seen the journey so far, but for children who are just 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, like parents get anxious, right? Like they're changing domains. There's no focus or consistency. So what would you want to tell, like, parents who get anxious about such things?
I think it's completely normal and like something that naturally comes where your interest changes and you even like you change as a person. So I don't think it's reasonable to have that like that's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think it naturally comes that way you change what you like. And I think that's not anything that you need to worry about. And whatever you do, like say you do like a sports career for like you try to like completely put your passion into that for like maybe 5 years, and then you switch to maybe like an office job kind of job. But I feel like those years are not wasted. It's like you've definitely learned and grown, and you are bringing that to the next thing that you do. So I really don't think it's something that you need to be worried about.
Yeah. And also, if you can share how your parents supported you in all these dynamics, right from allowing you to at the younger age of 13, 14 to get into not necessarily that you have to go to school and you have to do this, but rather hey, you can go deep dive into what you like doing. So and from there till now, how has been that support, and in what way has that made a difference to you?
Yeah, so definitely like my parents have been a big role of like played a really big role in my learning journey and education and all of that. And they've definitely given the support where they trust me with making my own decisions and try to support me to like so that I'm safe or I can do that in the way that I want it, like what that I want to. So I think that's how my parents have supported me. And like even if they question me or something like that, it's coming from like you can do it better, or like
I think to value add to you.
Sorry, yeah, value add to me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I think they definitely trust me with a lot of decisions, and like I feel like I'm like definitely push them a lot because I'm like this risk taker kind of thing. And like so then I think they always try to like accommodate what I'm kind of like listen from my perspective, try to think what I'm thinking, and that's really helped. Even like bringing different, I feel like a huge portion of being an open learner is the exposure that you get that kind of shapes you. So the more experiences, the more people that you meet, the more you learn. The more vast that your knowledge is. And I think they really helped me with like figuring out places that I could go to and like different resources. And that also like really helped.
Okay, there's a comment from Anna, who I believe is Anina, a parent, and she's written, "It's lovely how your journey has evolved through different paths, it's wonderful to have the freedom to change routes. So I think that's one parent already giving a thumbs up to, that. So I hope like more and more parents can, hear this talk and see how such journeys really impact and evolve you.
Yeah, and I would, Aswathy, want you to little comment on, since the comment says freedom to change routes. I think more than the freedom or even the responsibility, it is the how has been your joy of changing routes?
Yeah. It's like, even like when you think about changing, like even stopping doing something, even if it's not like fully, I still do filmmaking as a hobby, but like not pursuing it anymore in the way that I was. It's like there's the first hesitation that comes. It's like leaving something that you're comfortable with, but then like once I started doing something new, and that kind of opened up the door to like a lot of new possibilities and opportunities, and that was really nice to see. That was interesting, I think.
And perhaps it also opens up different aspects of yourself also.
Definitely.
One kind of thing has opened up some parts, and another thing will open up another part of me, kind of a thing. And I think that's wonderful.
So I think a 30-minute conversation with Aswathy is definitely not enough, given like how much she's explored and what all she's done. So definitely we would want to, keep coming back to these conversations with you. But I think for the day we can pause. Ratnesh, any last thoughts, or Aswathy, any last thoughts from you?
We will let Aswathy have the last thought.
You guys put me in the spot, but okay.
For the youth, let's say what's your, something that you would leave the youth with who are watching this live, maybe later.
Yeah. I think you can like, I think it's important to kind of be aware of what you want and like kind of really look into yourself and not let, what you're doing define you.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a wonderful thought to leave with. And for everyone who's watching us, thank you for joining us. And I'm very, very, happy that this conversation happened, because so many aspects of an open learning or a passion to profession journey came up from Aswathy's experience. If you have any topics or anything that you would want us to cover, do leave it in the comments and we will take it in the future live sessions. And once again, thank you, Aswathy. Thank you, Ratnesh, for this wonderful discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aswathy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.